guys, and welcome to my channel Flame with a 4. In this video we're going to show you how to install the EL wire mod. So this is the mod that makes your lights nice and bright on your DeLorean. So we've already had a look inside the kit already, and we have gone and installed this piece here. So we'll just talk you through how this piece, that piece there that glows up orange, was installed. We're going to do that right now. Once we've done that, we're going to come back and have a look at what else comes in the kit, and then we're going to show you how to install that stuff into that as well.
With this bit, guys, you need to take the back section, as you can see here. We need to strip it down in order to be able to get to the circular piece, which is housing that terrible part that's already pre-put in there. So you will need to undo a couple of screws. I'm just showing you here whereabouts the screws will be and what ones you need to take off, because we need to get that cabling out of there. So what we're going to do first is we are going to just remove a few of the screws. We're going to show you where they go and how to do it. But the first thing we need to do is just disconnect those silver pipes that are going into the back of the exhaust funnels, just there like so. So once you've done that, we should be able to do this in a bigger section rather than a smaller piece. Once you've taken those out, that should slide off like that. So again, they were held in by the screws underneath where I was just showing you, and this is the piece that needs to come out first. Once you've got that bit loose, you just need to prise those tiny little bits on the front, which were the little pipes that are holding on. There's 4 of those. They are a nightmare to get back on, so you might have to strip it down a little bit more to get them back on easier, but I'm just showing you a quick guide just so you can see how it comes out. Once you've done that, you will be left with this bit, so you will need to obviously undo another couple of bits to get that out. So we've got 2 more screws holding it on at the back there. I'm just showing you here. If you want to pause the video, you can. This is just to show you where they are, so you know what you got to do in order to do this. You can put all this back together straight away after you've installed the EL cable part of this, but you just need to do this process to be able to get to that stage. I went with this bit first because I thought it would just be easier to get this bit out of the way, so when we're doing the testing and stuff later, this is all ready to go. So there you go. So that's all out, ready to go now. So that's what it should look like. I've got tape on mine. I've had it on there ever since. I never bothered to take it off. You will need to remove the couple of the screws that are holding it on the inside. So I'm just showing you where they are as well. I've not really got it at the best angle for you, but we'll just quickly fast forward through just to get this bit out of the way. So here we go. Once you've done that and it is all loose, the front or the top section, so let's say the top clear section, should just pull away. And as you can see, the cable is held in like that. So we are going to be putting the EL cable in exactly the same way as that one. It's just that it's not going to be run through one single LED light and be absolutely terrible. It's actually going to be run through as one singular light, which is going to be generated by the power pack. So it's going to glow so much brighter. If you want to, you can sort of just straighten this out a little bit more if you want to, just so that all of this is, you know, all done and put in straight. Mine was kind of a little bit wonky when I did it, but you can do it and just straighten it up. If you want to be anal about it, you can. But you know, it glows up really well once it's done. So as you see there, you just need to loop it over, and then you just need to push it through. And then once you push that through, you just need to bead it around as much as you can, so that it will go nice and neat, you know, into the recess that's pre-cut out into that panel itself. So there you go. So just pushing it into there. You need to pull more through. If you need more through, pull it through, but try and do it even if you can. So there you go. That's all done. So we're just pushing it in, just making the final touches. I want to do this in real time so you guys can see it, so you know what it's supposed to look like. Like I said, you can see mine's quite ripply. You can go around with your fingernail just to sort of straighten all that out if you need to, but for now it just looks absolutely fine like that. So once you're happy with it and you've got it into position, you need to just install the clear section on that side, and then you will just need to flip it round, put the center screw in, and then there is also a couple more screws that hold that into place, or the inner section into place. We're going to fast forward through that, and then we'll show you what it should look like once it's done. So there you go, guys, once it's done. So the other bits that are holding it in are just the little tabs that make it neat, but that is really kind of like the main part that you want it to look like. So once you've done that, you are complete on this bit.
Okay guys, now that you know how to put that piece in, what we're going to do is going to have a look at what comes in this kit. So as you can see, presentation with Model Modz is always really spot on. 10 out of 10 for presentation every single time. So guys, in your kit you should have the pieces here, so you should have that. So that's kind of like the resistor that's there. You should have the cabling to go onto the power mod as well. Like I said, if you don't have the power mod, you can't proceed with this. You will need to go do the power mod before you can continue putting the EL wire mod on. So, and then you will need 3 of those in the kit as well, and then the one that we've already installed. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go grab the car, and then we're going to show you the first step of how to get this installed into your vehicle. Okay guys, so step 1 of doing this EL mod is to install this cable into the center console. So you want to go grab your center console here, and this piece, the one with the blue wire on one side, and then you've got green wire on the other side, or just the, these are just the heat sinks that hold them into place. But remember, green goes at the back, and then the blue goes at the front. So the mission that we have, the blue and the red one need to go through the center console. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and get them through this hole here, and then we want them to come out of this hole there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to feed that through. Not too sure how easy this is going to be, but we're going to try and do it. So what we'll do is put this up on its side, and then we'll slowly feed it through until we get it through there. Okay guys, now that you've done that section, that should be sitting out like this. So this is the length you want either side to be coming out. I'll just show you upside down whereabouts they're going through. So as you can see here, it just goes through the back there, and then this side you want it to have these 2 cables coming out of it. So at the back end you want it to have it so that you have them ones there, and then on this side, as you see, it goes through there. Make sure it's neat through there, and then it comes out this bottom section here. So it comes out of there, and then you've got the blue, you know, the blue and the red tab. They're just there. So these are just the heat shrinks. Just make sure that them ones are coming out the front like so. So once it's looking like this, we can then now move on to the next part of the build. For this next stage, you would have needed to have put the power mod in, and with the power mod, you'll have these 2 wires that come out like this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be feeding one of those back through, and then we're going to be using that to install the next section. So the next part of it is going to be this. So we're going to pop that in as well. So we need to now flip the vehicle upside down, and we need to feed one of these back through there. So we're just going to quickly go do that now. Now that you have the fuel tank cover off, that's just held in by those 6 screws, which we did when we installed the power mod. Let me just quickly pop that back on there. There we go, so that's all now in place. What you need to do, guys, is you need to make sure that one of those 2 cables just comes back through. So you need that power bit back through there out of the way. So if you have that through like that, that is the next stage of installing the EL cable. So what we're going to do is just going to leave that there for the minute, and then we're going to carry on doing the next section. The next part of the build, we will need to install this into the back section there. So what we will have to do is we will have to get something to cut away these tabs. So if you can see in here, there are some tabs that we need to get rid of. So we need to get rid of that tab, which is just there. There's a tab here, and then there's also a tab there, which we will need to remove, which what we can do is we can get some pliers, some long nose pliers, just break them off, and then we can use a Dremel just to smooth them down and then hoover away any of the excess. So we'll go and move on and do that now. But before you do that, the best thing to do is, so you don't damage any of the vehicle, is to just tape this section up out of the way. If you don't have enough slack on this section here for that, what you need to do is you need to loosen off the holders that are holding the cable in, so that you can pull that through, so that you've got a little bit extra room there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go do that now, and then we'll come straight back so we can show you how to do that. So for this next process, guys, what we need to do is we will need to remove these tabs. So you've got the tab there, and then there's a tab here, and then there's also that long tab there. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to break it away with some long nose pliers, just like that, and then we're going to do the same on the other one. So there you go, so that's gone. And then again on this one, this is the bigger one. The bigger one will take a little bit more bending as it's a lot longer, but we need it out of the way for the next part that we're going to install. Just push that down. There you go, so that's that one. So that's the long one, and then there's the medium one, and then the small one, and then what you're left with is this nice flat surface. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the Dremel and we're going to just smoothing out the little tab bits that are left over there. So we'll just turn the sound off for that because we don't want you guys to be deafened, and we'll see what the result looks like in the end. So there you go guys, that's all now done. So as you can see they're nice and flat. So what we need to do, we just need to get rid of this excess wastage here. So we'll just tip that into the bin, or you could hoover it out if you have a small hoover just to get rid of any of the dust. Once we've done that, we'll come back and then we need to install this little piece. Now that you have removed the tabs guys, you can now install this. So what you need to do is you just need to they've already pre-done it so that you can stick it down. So that's obviously really good. Model Modz is really good like that. And then in the middle here, there is like 2 recesses. So it will just sit just underneath that as well. So it will just sit in there under there, like so. So we're just going to stick that in like that. So that should hold that in nice and tight. And then what we will do next is we just need to just connect a couple of bits up. So we'll just go ahead and figure out which ones we need to put in, and then we'll come back in a second. Okay guys, so the next 2 steps that we need to do on this is we will need to connect this red cable here to the power cable that we brought through a little while ago. And what you need to do is you need to make sure that the red tab, the red coloured piece, matches the red coloured piece on this connection. So the red connection there. So make sure that the red is parallel with the red that side. So as you can see, this side's red, that side's red. That needs to go in there and click into place so that that's in there. Once you've done that, you need to feed this back through the vehicle. So we're going to feed that back through into the front of the vehicle. So that's the black cable. That will go back through here. So we'll just put that back through. And then we just need to make sure that these cables are just lined up in here nicely and that they don't get in the way of anything. For a minute. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take an old bit of tape and just tape that into place just for a moment, because we will now need to flip the car up round the other way so that we can continue to just finish off this black cable, which we're going to do now. So as you can see guys, this now needs to go into number 23. Number 23 is this one that's just folded down in this corner. So what we need to do is undo this tab, undo that tab, fold this back under here and then connect it to the black cable. I mean, although it reaches quite well, what we can do is we can just pull it back enough just so it goes back on itself underneath this, just so we can connect it to the black cable there for number 23. Okay, now we have taken wire 23 from here, we've tucked it back under there. So as you can see, there's a fold here and it now comes out so that it's by the, pretty much by the plug number 23, which is there anyway. So what we need to do now is the black wire I've put in with the power cable. So the black wire is coming out of here, going down along with the power cable. And then we just need to connect that black one into number 23. So we'll just quickly go ahead and do that now. So that just pushes into there like that. So then that is connected into there. So all you need to do now is just hide this, tuck this out of the way, make sure it's all nice and neat, and then that's that stage. What we're going to do now is we are going to now move on to going back on the underside of the vehicle. So before we do that, we do need to go grab the section which we put in at the start, which was this one. So what we need to do with this is the front section, which obviously goes onto the front of the vehicle here. Let's move this around so you can see it a little bit better. This red one, which goes there, that needs to tuck back into that hole. So that will need to go into there. And then what we'll do is we will just put that through there, and then we will need to connect that up. So that just needs to go in there. We're going to put that in there, and then we'll flip the car on the other side so you can have a quick look at what that looks like. So back on the underneath side, guys, we're just going to remove the tape that was just holding all the cables out the way. On the inverter here, we will need to connect this to the main body. But what we're going to do for now is we're just going to pop that back through that hole so that it goes out the other side, so we can connect that in. And then we're just going to tuck all these cables neatly out the way. We need to turn it around this way so that it's out the way. And then what we can do is place this back down. What you want to do is make sure you don't snag any of the cables if you can when we're putting it back into place. Just making sure we don't catch any of those. And then once you're happy with that and you're happy to put that down, that just needs to go back down into position. And then you just need to replace those screws back again. So what we're going to do is just put those screws back in there. If you can remember, then you just need to just put the 4 screws in there, and then the longer ones go in here. So we're just going to pop those back in, and then we'll come back once we've done that. So there we go, guys, those screws are now been replaced. So what we've done here is the 4 smaller screws will just go in there, the 2 longer ones go there. As you can see, it's all now nice and neat. You do have a little hatch if you want to just check on it. I mean, if you have bought the mod where it covers all that up, then you know, you're fine. But I've still left my little compartment there, which you can just replace into there, just to keep everything neat out of the way. Just want to make sure I'm not snagging it on anything, so that can just sit back into there. And then this is the power point here, where you'll put your power into to power up everything that you're going to have on it. So we're just going to flip it up around the other way so we can have a look. And as you can see, that's that cable now, which will join on to the front of this. So if you have the front of your vehicle, I'll just bring it over closer so we can see. So once you have this bit that we installed at the start, the red cable here will now join into there. When we're going to go put it on, these 2 cables will join into there, and then this other one will run at the front. So we do need to remove a couple of wires that we won't need. So there are 2 wires that we won't need on this. So you can go ahead and remove wire 19. Wire 19 is just up here, so that one runs all the way back to there. You can remove that. That is no longer required, so we can take that one out, keep them as spares. You can leave them in if you want to, but you don't need them. And we also need to get rid of number 22 as well. So number 22 can come out. Let's just quickly find out where 22 is. I think 22 is possibly this one in here, which I'm just going to double check. Yeah, 22. So you can get rid of number 22 as well. You won't need number 22, so take those out. I'm just going to quickly go take those out. We'll come back and then we'll put the rest together. So just to show you the front, guys, so the cable comes out of the center console here. So let's just turn it around this way so you can see. So the cable that comes out of here with the blue sleeve on it will just come out of here. You need to just tuck it underneath these, so you just need to undo that tab there, undo this tab here, trail it round, and it wants to come out of the front right hand side of the car. So the front right hand side, passenger side, just there. So that's where that one goes. And then what we need to do, we need to flip the car around, and then we just need to put in these 2 ones as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to put them into position, and then we'll show you where they go so you know. On this back part of the vehicle here, what you need to do, guys, is you will just need to connect up all of your wires that you're going to put in, because once you put this in, you want to just kind of keep that into place. So go ahead and just attach everything that you had on there already. As you can see here, the one that's coming out of here is going to be the one that goes to the back of the EL wire kit. The one that's here is the one that goes to that orange connection, which is up in the back of the on top of the engine, which glows up orange. So that will just sit just there. So this one needs to go through those and then tuck down there. So you just need to put that in. And then with the power mod, you just need to make sure that the power mod is plugged in. So either one of these 3 wires will power the circuit board for the EM circuit board. So you just need to plug one of those into the power. Make sure you get them around the right way, the plus and the minus around the right way. We will just go ahead and put that in. On this side with the single cable, that just needs to go trail in there as well. And then that needs to sit down into there. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just pop all those into place, put all the tabs back in so that they go like that, and then we'll just show you a nice detailed look of how that should sit when that's all done. Okay guys, now that we've got these into place, I'm just going to show you what the setup should look like at this stage. So as you can see, the green one here, that is the one that's going to go into the back of the orange light, which is just sitting there. So that's all trailed here around. I put it all under there, I've tucked it down. I've also used the ties. That just wants to go down there, and then that just needs to sit there. There's a little cutout, I don't know if you can see it, just inside there, which is where the cable will sit. So that just needs to push down into there. Just try and move it over so you can see. And that will just go down into this recess here. Same with the other side. The single cable just comes down underneath all of this, and as it goes down there, it just sits down and tucks down nicely into there. So what you should have is you should have 2 of the cables from the EL kit, one here and one there, sticking at the bottom. Okay guys, we're just going to move on now to testing this to see it all working. So at this stage guys, what we will need to do is we will just need to just make sure everything's in place ready for testing. So this is just a test mode. So what we've got is we've got the EL wire at the back here. We've got the EL cable out the back here as well. We've just got this plugged in. This is going to be to light up this orange glow in here. So that one's done. Everything else is connected up. The front one's connected up here, and that runs around there. So we just can tuck that in there. So that runs down here into there, and then the EL cable is just held on. Oh, sorry. Just run that, and then the EL cable is just held on there. So what we're going to do, we're going to flip the lights off. We're going to test the 1 to 6 switches to make sure that everything's working before we proceed to put this piece in and then start to build the car all back up again. Okay guys, now the lights are off. What I want to do, it's not brilliantly dark in here, but I'm hoping that the glow is enough to show you guys. So number 1 should turn on all of the lights of the EL cable. So there you go. So that's the EL cable. Look how bright that is already. This is like in the day. As you can see outside, look, it's still daylight, and this is glowing up really bright. So, and these are the back cables here, so they're working absolutely fine. There's one here, that's perfect, and then the glow on the orange is just here. So look at that, that's absolutely perfect. Not too bright, looks really, really good. So what we need to do now is just make sure everything else works. So we've got number 2. We don't have the lights for the front plugged in and stuff like that, but we'll just run through all of these lights to make sure everything is working. As you can see, everything lights up this side of things. So we've got the dash lights, the ATA, everything like that. And then round here, we have the Christmas tree and the flux going like a good one. Absolutely perfect. Our DeLorean wouldn't be like this without Model Modz and Mike Lane, you know guys. Just because all of this detail is all down to them. They're absolutely perfect craftsmanship. So there you go. So that is all working. So we can now move on to the next part of this and putting it all back together. So I'm really happy with that, guys. So that's how you install the EL cable. I hope you like this video. Please like, share and subscribe, and come back again for part 2 on this EL cable when we install it onto the body of itself. Thank you. Bye bye.